Following sponsored program are strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers and are not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Hello, and welcome to Total Holistic Live Show with your host, Dr. Anya Temer. Conversations about digging deep to find the root cause of chronic pain, illness, using the latest scientific cutting-edge technology to promote health, wellness, and anti-aging. You could find us on our website, totalholisticcenter.com. Join us for our shows and call in with any questions you have at 888-565-1470. And now, let's get on with the show. Hi, hello, and welcome to Total Holistic Live Show with your host, Dr. Anya Temer, DO. If you want to call in at any time during the show with any questions related to health, wellness, nutrition, supplements, stem cell therapy, cannabinoid therapy, please call us 888-565-1470. What is the show about? I'm here as a physician who turned more holistic over time to give you hope. First of all, to give you hope that being truly healthy is actually possible. Getting well is possible. Being pain-free is possible. Not suffering anymore is possible. Living an active and healthy lifestyle and improving your life is totally possible. Yes, it requires a little bit of work. What we're going to talk today about is that maybe sometimes the way that we're used to, a quick fix, maybe not the best way. Because yes, it's a quick fix, it's an easy fix, but it might not give you the results you truly want. So who am I? Why am I here to talk to you today? I am a Western medicine trained family medicine practitioner. I finished my whole education process, my schooling as a doctor, my residency as a doctor. And while I was in medical school and residency, I started seeing some patterns. Let me take you a few steps back. When I was 15 years old, I came to the United States as an immigrant from Ukraine with my family. And unfortunately, I had to go through watching my father, my own father, get sick. He was very sick. And he went from doctor to doctor to doctor. He kept getting different medications. He kept being shuffled from one doctor to another. And unfortunately, he was just getting sicker and sicker. His mental health was deteriorating. His physical health was deteriorating. And as a 15, 16, 17-year-old, I watched that. And as somebody behind the scenes, what I noticed was that the doctors and medical system split him up into body parts. You know, his digestive system was off, they sent him to gastroenterologist. He was depressed, they sent him to psychiatrist. His foot starting hurting, they sent him to podiatrist. But there was not one person who looked at him as a whole, as one whole total human being, and took a step back to see the whole picture. Me, on the other hand, I saw what was happening behind the scenes, the psychological processes he was going through as a man immigrating to a whole new country without language, without any opportunities, and the hardship that put on his body. I saw different lifestyle options and foods and things like that behind the scenes that I thought maybe not the healthiest. And I also noticed nobody was addressing that with him. Nobody asked him those questions. And I thought to myself that, you know what, I want to be a doctor, but I want to be a different kind of doctor. I want to be the one that would address all these things with people. And as a 17 or 18-year-old, I decided that I'm going to be a doctor. And I started doing my research, and I found out that something called osteopathy, osteopathic medical schools, are more holistic in their mindset. So I went there. And as I was schooled and then went to the residency, I realized that unfortunately, even osteopathic doctors and allopathic doctors, we all go in the same residencies, in the same hospital systems, and then we all have to deal with the same system. Finding a diagnosis for a bunch of symptoms and then finding the right medication. That's the main system. And I saw people revolving door coming back with the same symptoms, with the same issues. They would get a little better and they would come back. They would get a little better and they would come back. But nobody was getting truly healthy. And to me, that was just very soul-crushing. I was this close to quitting medical school at some point and then residency at some point because I really wanted to take a different route. But I stuck with it. I even remember to this day, I was in the residency, we had lectures as residents. A lawyer was teaching us about what and how we need to practice in order to keep our license. And I was so shuddered by it because I didn't want to just worry about my license. I really want to help people. So I came out and I was sitting in my car, crying hysterically and thinking, I'm done. I'm quitting medicine. And I called my mother, my Russian Jewish mother, who put a good guilt trip on me, sorry mom, and said, no, you're gonna finish. You're gonna get your diploma and then do whatever you need. So I followed through and I finished and I got my diploma. If you have any questions, please feel free to call us live, 888-565-1470. When I'm done with my story, I actually have an amazing guest here with me, so stay tuned for that. So what did I do after finishing residency and getting that medical diploma? Actually, I did nothing. I didn't want to go regular route. I didn't want to go in a regular clinic. I was a little lost for a while. And then I discovered something that was called health coaching. And I'm very passionate about psychology and mindset. So coaching, life coaching and health coaching is huge for me. I see incredible changes in people when we really work on daily habits and lifestyle and how we look at our life, how we really feel our emotions and what we think and our mindset. So for 2 years, I did that. I did health and life coaching. And then little by little, I made a decision to start my own holistic practice. And that's how Total Holistic Center was born. We started as a tiny little practice, family run with my husband, Ben Temer. And little by little, we grew. Total Holistic Center is different, unique. We focus on 360 approach, where we look at the body, mind, lifestyle, everything together, where you're looked at as a human being, first of all. You're imperfect, like all of us, like me, but you're human, and you're whole. You're not just the sum of body parts. And that's how we practice. And we incorporate health and life coaching into every program that we do, and we see amazing results. And as I said in the beginning, it does take work. It takes more work than just popping a pill. You have to look at your life, you have to evaluate your life and really make changes. So in the next minute, we're gonna talk to a guest of mine. She's incredible and she's my patient. In the meantime, please feel free to give us a call, 888-565-1470. And you could also find more information about us at totalholisticcenter.com and call us at 561-323-4994. This is our office number. And right now we're gonna go to a commercial break. Stay tuned and please come back afterwards.
Are your health issues stopping you from living the life you've imagined? Are you unable to do the things you want to do due to chronic pain or chronic health issues? Have you seen many doctors, taken multiple medications, but are still suffering? Or are you simply looking for ways to boost your immune system and live a long and healthy life? Total Holistic Center is the solution you've been looking for. We provide you with out-of-the-box, cutting-edge scientific technologies for true health, wellness, and anti-aging via phone, in-person, or virtual video consultations. Some of our services include total wellness consultations, where we dig deeper into underlying root causes of chronic health issues, and personalized 360 wellness protocols customized specifically just for you based on your individualized biomarkers. Visit us at
Welcome back to Total Holistic Life Show with your host, Dr. Anya Temer. We're here with my incredible guest here. She's a patient of mine. Full consent to being here.
Yes.
Her name is Ivy Larson, and I'll actually have her introduce herself. She has an incredible journey of healing, and I just wanted to bring her here to our first show because I want her to be an example to show you what is possible when we really look outside the box, when we really decide to take responsibility for our life, when we decide to take the step that's maybe harder but better in the long term. So Ivy, please tell me about yourself, what you do, and how you got here.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I'm very honored to be here, especially as the first guest. And I have an enormous amount of respect for the way you practice medicine. It is 100% in alignment with how I've approached and navigated my health for the last 22 years. So I'm 44 now, but I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, MS for short, when I was 22 years old. And so this was in 1998. And at the time I was wearing a catheter, I couldn't void my bladder. I had a difficult time walking up the stairs. I had numbness and tingling in my right leg. And I had been shuffled from doctor to doctor over the course of a 3-month period. I was getting reoccurring bladder infections, and ultimately ended up in the emergency room at the hospital where I worked as an exercise specialist. And then I was shuffled to the University of Miami. And within a few days, I received the MS diagnosis. What was very unique about my neurologist was that he had actually studied with Dr. Roy Swank, who was the first neurologist who made the connection between diet and MS. And this was in the 50s. This was before the disease-modifying medicines were available. And Dr. Roy Swank's research on nutrition was published in very esteemed medical journals, Lancet, New England Journal of Medicine, Archives of Neurology. And so my neurologist gave me 3 options. He said I could begin one of the disease-modifying medicines, but they were contraindicated during pregnancy. I was 22 and very much wanted to have a child. And I have one 19-year-old son now. I got started early because wasn't quite sure if at that point if the medicine, if I would need to go to medicine.
The clock.
Yeah, so I had that running. So the first option was to begin one of the disease-modifying meds. The second option was to enter a trial to be like a guinea pig, which was a suboptimal option. And the third option was to start an anti-inflammatory diet based on the research of Dr. Roy Swank.
That's so incredible that option even was given to you.
And it was an enormous, the fact that it came from the doctors play such a huge role in the route the patient takes, because the fact that my very first doctor is the one that told me about diet, and since then I've been to multiple neurologists. None of them have even heard of Swank's diet, or his research. Many will say, oh, you can do nutrition, but don't expect much. And then some just downright say it doesn't play a role whatsoever.
Yeah, because unfortunately, as medical doctors, we're not really taught nutrition.
Right.
We're literally giving hours, 4, 5, even 10, sometimes hours as doctors for nutrition. Hopefully right now it's changing. But in generally, that was such a blessing.
Well, that's true, because my husband's a surgeon, so that was how, he was in medical school, as I knew him from high school, and my husband was at University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine, which is one of the top 3 medical schools in the country. He was at the top of his class. I called him to ask about this. He was not my husband at the time. He was just my friend from high school. And I called to ask him about this recommendation from my neurologist. And he has a very open mind, but his initial reaction was, he just did his neurology rotation and nobody mentioned diet, but he actually went underground because this was 1998, so the internet wasn't really where you could do research. I mean, I don't even know if PubMed existed. And so he goes down underground, spends a whole day at University of Pennsylvania School of Medicine's library, and comes back and is like astounded that legitimate research actually exists. And so that's how we got started on, we've written 5 books on nutrition now, but that was the catalyst for the first book. And initially we were just targeting it on MS, but really the common thread or the common denominator between MS and so many seemingly unrelated conditions is inflammation.
Inflammation and immune system.
Exactly. And gut health. Yeah.
Because immune system is at the forefront of everything that's going on in our body. Exactly. And inflammation is just something that's there with pretty much all the chronic illnesses.
Exactly, right. So if you can tamper down the immune system, if you can tamper down the inflammation and optimize the immune system, health and optimize gut health, you're on a pathway to flourishing health. And it's not just for MS. We all have, the environment and age and whatnot starts turning on and activating whatever genetic weakness we have. And so right now at 44, it's not, even if I didn't have MS. I
want to catch you there because not everybody knows this. You just said environmental, how did you say it? Environmental signals turn on our genome, right?
Right.
Because a lot of physician and medical professionals are taught and learn, and that's what we talk about is, it's just genetics. It's just in my family.
Oh, right.
But there's also so much research about, you could look it up, different adoption research, how our environment is actually more influential to our genome.
Yes.
There's such study called epigenetics that our environment and even our mindset, it turns on and off the genome. Yes. I just want to catch that.
Maybe you're right. Maybe not everybody knows. And you explain it so much better with all the scientific ways. But no, it's true. So at this stage of my life at 44, even if they were to say there's a cure for MS, I would not do the diet or the lifestyle because I know it's affecting, I don't just have the MS gene. Who knows what other genes I have. And so the same diet and lifestyle that I follow is one that I've now learned is applicable. It's across the board. It's whether it's diabetes or obesity or heart disease or type 2 diabetes or, fibromyalgia or osteoarthritis. There's a common thread between all of these. And so the diet is really, and the lifestyle is basically the same. I guess the caveat would be if you have food allergies or, so
there's other issues. Yeah, absolutely. There's things that are outside of that spectrum, but I guess we could say the most of the time. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me a little bit when you first started, because it's not easy. It's not easy to implement this lifestyle. What did you have to go through to really get to the place of health?
Well, cooking is a huge component. But I've learned to love cooking. The thing is, I actually look at cooking as like a form of meditation. I turn on the music. I don't answer the phone. I don't watch TV, and it's sort of like me time. So I think there is sort of a mindset involved in this, and what you said earlier that you didn't say it exactly like this, but I'll say it like this. Your thoughts affect your emotions, and your emotions affect every cell in your body. And so I think adopting a positive, I can do this mindset, surrounding yourself with people who are supportive is incredibly important. And I was very fortunate that my parents were on board. My now husband's on board. I raised my son, who I think I mentioned earlier is 19. I nursed him, but once he was weaned, he's only eaten the same anti-inflammatory, whole foods, nutrient-dense, plant-forward diet that we've eaten. And in his whole life, he's been on 2 antibiotic pills. Just 2.
How incredible is that?
Which is like, and I say like knock on wood.
Oh yeah.
But I was on antibiotics.
There are things that unfortunately we're not in control because we live in a pretty toxic world. So even the air we breathe and the water we drink, and when we go eating out, and toxicity that we're surrounded with, both mental and physical, and the stress that, you know, media puts on us and all of that. Those things we can't really control. But if we focus mostly, I always say 80-20.
Oh yeah. I like
if
that,
we
right.
control at least 80%
Exactly.
and are good to ourselves and our body
Yeah.
at least 80% of the time,
Yeah.
then our body will forgive us the 20%.
I like that. Yes.
I just wanted to ask if there's any callers. Please feel free to call in live at 888-565-1470 with any questions.
They're writing, what kind of food is anti-inflammatory?
The question is, what kind of food is anti-inflammatory? Beautiful. Take that, because your book is about that.
Well, you know, predominantly you want to focus, the number one diet mistake people make is actually not eating anywhere near enough fruits and vegetables. So I would say if you could only make one change, it's to significantly ramp up your fruit and vegetable intake, or going organic as much as possible. And then additionally, the fats that you eat, those are very important. You want to eliminate any hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated oils, an excess of omega-6 oils. Those are the processed refined oils that they put in packaged foods, corn oil, vegetable oil.
So those are no good.
Those are not good. Right. But corn oil, pure vegetable oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil. Those are the cheap oils that are nutrient poor, that have been highly refined. They're pro-inflammatory, and actually it's important to have a balance of omega-6 to omega-3 fats. So when you eat too many of those fats, you offset your body's ability to utilize the omega-3 fats, which most people don't get enough of. And so making a conscientious effort to eat more fish. You want to make sure you get wild fish. I personally take fish oil supplements.
Yes, supplementation is very important.
I think it's
because
very
even if we try to eat the healthiest that we can, unfortunately the quality of the food right now and the quality of the produce that we could buy is not the best. So supplementation is right now one of the things that we have to do. And also in Total Holistic Center, we make sure to individualize our approach to everyone. So each body is different the way they're reacting to food. And I completely agree with you. In a perfect world, this diet of fruits and vegetables and being healthy that way is amazing. Unfortunately, what I'm seeing in my practice with all the toxins and antibiotics and things that we do to our body, sometimes we are sensitive even to healthy foods. So when we do food sensitivity testing, we see sometimes people are sensitive to spinach or egg whites or things that we consider healthy. So general approach is beautiful, but it doesn't work for everybody. It's very important also to look at yourself as an individual, to do the lab testing that's individualized to your own biomarkers, and to make sure that you have a program that's specific to your body.
That's such a good point, because I actually found out that I was sensitive to foods like strawberries and mushrooms and things that you would think when I did a food sensitivity test.
I remember that.
Yeah, right?
And you were shocked by
I was
that.
like, and cranberries. I was popping cranberries, frozen cranberries in my water.
I would love to talk more, and I think we'll have you as a guest again at some point. We're coming to a close today. Please call us with any of your questions after the show, 561-323-4994, and go visit us to totalholisticcenter.com. You could also find us on social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, and we're very responsive to any questions. Where can they find you? Where can they find your book?
You can go to the website, to cleancuisine.com, and the book's available on Amazon. It's called Clean Cuisine, and also Barnes & Noble.
Beautiful. So did this give you some questions? Did this cause you to think a little differently? I really hope so. This is the goal of the show, to start questioning the way you've been learning and what you know about health, and take responsibility for your own life and your own health, and start learning and educating yourself. Have a good evening. Stay tuned and call us with any questions. 561-323-4994. Thank you. You've been listening to Total Holistic Life Show with your host, Dr. Anya Temer.
Join us each week for more conversations about digging deep to find the root cause of chronic illness and latest scientific cutting-edge technology to promote health, wellness, and anti-aging. You could follow us at totalholisticcenter.com. If you have any questions, call us directly at 561-323-4994.